Chapter 80 of Monster Musume is finally here, and all I can say is that this chapter is just alright. But before I obviously go deeper into the chapter, I need to talk about the cover page, which is just covering the various monster girl species that were introduced during the course of this arc. I've practically talked all of these throughout some of my previous reviews, so I don't feel like I need to go discussing more about them. Anyways, this chapter leaves off where the cliffhanger from the previous chapter left off, in which Kimihito confronts this character who's supposedly Arbatel. Her name is Miss Honma from the library committee, and I'm kind of disappointed because in the previous chapter it showed supposedly Arbatel to be sort of like this shadowy figure with like huge pupils that made it look like an alien. But I mean, like I mentioned in my previous review, I said that it's probably sort of done in a way to keep suspense, and their design was probably going to look different upon the full reveal. But I mean, it's just a generic like schoolgirl with like big old glasses. So I mean, what else can I say? This design isn't that great. But yeah, the chapter goes on to reveal that this character is Arbatel in disguise, and they practically are the only character that is not involved in any sort of like romantic like relationship with any other of the students, and that's because since they are Bazel, they can't be falling in love since they had to keep, I guess you can say, a watch over this whole like high school world and stuff like that. Arbatel then goes on to reveal her true form, which is, I mean, it looks pretty good. I think this design looks alright. I mean, it's like the generic witch-like design, but I mean, it doesn't look like that bad. It just looks fine. And now that I think about it, Arbatel's like true form was revealed, or I guess you can say foreshadowed within like the first chapter of this arc, specifically the first chapter of this arc. But yeah, it's kind of funny now that I think about it because in like, I guess you can say like the very beginning of the arc, Arbatel's true form is shown as a silhouette, but I was not expecting that silhouette to be Arbatel's like true form, and I mean, upon looking at it in the chapter, I mean, it's no surprise that that was her since like the very beginning. But overall, Arbatel goes on to say that the only reason Kimihito wasn't like brainwashed in throughout the course of this arc is because he's a harem protagonist. I mean, which he really is, but that's the only reason he wasn't brainwashed, because he's a harem protagonist, and Arbatel's goal was to try to make him choose one of the main girls to fall in love with, and he was trying to change sort of like his ways of living and stuff like that. But I mean, it didn't work. In the end, you get one of those generic like moments where like the character trips over, falls on top of the girl, and they fall in love. And I mean, with that, since Arbatel fell in love, and she can't be falling in love because she's in charge of, I guess you can say controlling this dimension or whatnot, she decides to just practically let everyone go and go back to the real world. And that's how this arc practically ends. Overall, I thought this arc was nothing but a huge waste, and that's kind of how I feel about previous arcs as well. A lot of those arcs exist solely to introduce new monster girls and new species to the series and not really drive the story forward. This arc didn't really have anything of huge importance to it. You could literally just take this arc, delete it, and it would literally not impact the story in any way, shape, or form. Man, and honestly, it's kind of disappointing to see the way the series is headed into, the sort of the direction the author has decided to take the series in. It's a harem story, okay, and many people expect for the main character to choose one of the main monster girls to end up with at the end of the series. But the way things are going, the way the series is headed in, I don't see that happening anytime soon. And I feel like a lot of fans are kind of disappointed sort of the way and the direction the series has headed now for the past couple of years. Because really, a lot of the main monster girls have gotten like no development to like, their relationship or strengthen their bond with Kimihito or, the main protagonist. And It's just more of them getting stuck in wacky ass goofy scenarios, trying to like figure out a way out or trying to solve like sort of whatever scenario they are stuck in. And that's practically what the series has become. And I don't know what to tell you. I mean, not a big fan of this arc. Started off alright, but as the arc went by, and I don't know, I just didn't like it. Was not a big fan of it. Overall, if you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe. And if you have your own thoughts or comments on, this arc and, the future of the manga, feel free to leave it down in the comment section down below. And I will see you in the next video.